Do you know what's weird? It's been, I think it was like the 15th or 20th anniversary of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Like
15
that's
years.
absolutely insane. Yeah, which they were doing. They were doing that thing that a lot of studios were doing at the time, which was, hey, this is hot. Like, people are really enjoying this. We need to get an anime out as soon as possible. We don't know how it ends, but we need to, we can work with that. We can change the ending to make
They're just like, we'll end it.
Yeah.
But yeah, the actual Brotherhood one, 15 years, 20 years, and it's just kind of like, wow. I remember that opening and I was just like, this is insane. This is whoa.
Absolutely. Like,
so 15 years of that's what made me think of it. Welcome to another brand new episode of Undisputed Anime. This is the podcast where we love to give you recommendations and some reviews. I am your host, Zane. Taichou. I nearly did a June reference there. I've seen June. This is why I'm so tired. I stayed up and I watched like a lot of June this week. And the temptation to be, I'm Paul Muddy Atreides, Duke of Arrakis. Like, it just lives in my head rent free. Like,
I've been meaning to get around to going to see it. Like, so me and Kira, we were like really late off the train to actually watch the original.
Okay.
We didn't like watch it until like late last year. But when we did it, we were like, oh my god, this is like the best movie I've seen in like forever. And it's surprising as well because like Kira's dad is a huge fan of the books. Like like he's read them over and over and over again. So I've been really meaning to. I meant to really get on it and like go and see it at the cinema. I don't think I'm gonna have time. But I do really want to see it. And I've also, since I watched the original one, I'm constantly just watching like lore videos about the Dune universe on YouTube.
Yeah, me too.
And you're like, oh wow, this is so much more fucked up than it is in the movie.
Exactly. I'm in it deep now. I feel like I'm really getting embraced by like the sand is like a phenom is hugging me, like
you're ready,
taking me in.
You're ready to do your funny little walk across the desert.
Drink my own moisture.
Yeah.
By the way, everyone, Susu Day is here, my lovely co-host. How are you doing?
It's me. I'm good. I'm just, as you know, I said for sure, I'm really busy at the moment. I've looked at my calendar and I've looked at the next couple of months, and I am just, I am so busy. And then it gets to June, and I'm extra busy. Hey, June. That sounds like Dune.
Full circle moment right there.
I think the shattering, crippling realization of how much responsibilities I have over the next couple of months is like finally hit me a bit too late. I should have been thinking about this like months ago. And then there's loads of good games coming out, and then there's like games that I'm already playing that are releasing new content, which is going to take up my time. I'm trying to power play through a second playthrough of Persona 3 Reload, so I can so it's done. So I've got it just 100%.
And you've been killing it on Star Rail, FYI.
I've been playing so much Star Rail. When they release a character that is like so good and so appealing, you're like, oh, I need to get every single bit of in-game currency I can to get every single chance. I've got the character now, but I'm trying to get her signature weapon. So that's taking up all my...
It just doesn't stop.
Breathe. Okay, how are you?
Let's all breathe.
Yeah, how are you, Zen? Like, that's what I got going on.
I'm all right. I'm not too bad. I am watching a hell of a lot of anime right now.
Good stuff.
Not only is there, we're in a new season, the spring stuff is rolling out, and again, we'll be talking through some of the stuff we've watched this week, as well as us. We've got some questions, believe it or not. So I thought it'd be great to do some question time. So we'll be going through that as well. But yeah, I have a lot of watching. So yeah, there's been all of last season stuff to catch up on. as well as the new season. And I have, so secretly, I have been watching older stuff, like one every month. So at the beginning of the year, it was Seven Samurai. I never watched it. So I've watched that. Great. Enjoyed it. February, I watched something else. Oh, my memory's awful. And then this month, February, I watched something called Recreator, which really hit me like I wasn't expecting. I'll give you the short version of the premise. The whole idea is that characters from fiction come to life.
Okay.
And the whole idea is that they are trying to figure out, like, A, why they come into life, B, they meet their creators, and they're just kind of like, why have you created me in such a way? Why is my world like in constant wars and stuff? So it is really, and it's all about like, from a creator's point of view, like I wanted to tell this story and I used these, you know, ways to try and convey my message and stuff. So it's kind of interesting, but at the same time, it has like amazing action and animation. I think it came out in 2017.
Yeah, I'm just looking at like I've done just a Google search. It came out. The first
Yeah.
episode aired in 2017 in April.
Yeah.
2 days from now. I mean, like, it does, like, I mean, just from like the initial images that I'm seeing, it does look like pretty cool. I'm gonna say this, and this is like no insult to it because I've not seen it. I can't speak for it. And this is no insult to you who's been watching it and enjoying it. I'm looking at the first couple of things I can see about it. It kind of looks like, Mum, can I have Fate Stay Night? No, we have Fate Stay Night at home. And this is the Fate Stay Night at home.
Yes. Yeah. You've definitely hit something there. It's because it has all these different characters from different genres.
Yeah.
So you've got like the female MC from a shonen battle, where you've got like the
shoujo magical
girl from
girl.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it's hilarious. But then it's like they have a fight in the real world, and like all that kind of magical curl love hearts, you know, that would do damage, they go off like bombs. Like they, if the character dodges it and it hits a building, it hits like 50 people in that building. You know what I mean?
You think it was the power of love? No, it isn't. That's a heart-shaped C4 package.
Exactly. And then she has this whole like sort of meta crisis where she's like, my power of love does what? It doesn't do that in my universe. Like, so yeah, it is it's fantastic, and it's on Amazon Prime. So yeah, I've been enjoying that. But I have derailed. Housekeeping before I forget. I've set up another channel because we were doing a lot of trailer reactions. So I've popped those on a separate channel called, I think it's our old plus ultra channel, you know. Yeah. So a link to that will be in description. I know it's something that we mentioned last episode, but we're working out some of the sound on it because some of the sound of the trailers and our audio,
the mixing
is all
is
over
a
the
bit
place.
weird.
Yeah. So that will be launching soon. So keep an eye on all the different channels for that. Where should we start? Where should we start?
Well, like, no, absolutely. You go off. You continue. Like,
okay. So new season, new week. I thought it'd be cool to talk about what we've watched and give you our thoughts and opinions and things. I'll kick things off. Why not?
Ace.
Here we go. So I watched the first episode of Windbreaker, and wow, this is how you do a first episode. It wasn't necessarily like my most anticipated series of this season, but I think we mentioned it last episode. This is something that is probably something I was kind of looking forward to, in the sense of I like Tokyo Revengers. I like Bugatti. Anyway, I like fighty stuff.
Yeah.
So this was definitely on my radar. But the first episode is just kind of like no BS, just kind of goes into it. Here's the MC. Here's why he's the way he is, and this is why everyone fights each other. Perfect, like in a bubble, nice and easy. 20 minutes.
Nice. So tidy. It's very tidy. Gets right into it. Doesn't mess around like with
No,
a bloated explanation of why things are the way they are. It just kind of like, there we go. This is what you want.
yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like, you're here to see some fights. I'm going to give you, like a really easy, happy meal version of why we're all fighting. Here it is. Now here's your fights.
Nice.
And the fights are fantastic. For the first episode, animation, crisp, beautiful, really engaging and visually fun. Like really, really cool.
Like it sounds great. I mean, it wasn't something that I was looking to myself. But honestly, like you've sold it. You sold it somewhat to me.
Hey, what can I say? If you want fighty, punchy boys in a gang where they've all got each other's backs, I'm there. I'm there to see it as well.
Fantastic. Looking good. Looking good.
What have you been watching this week?
So I'll start off where I think I should start off, which is I started Spice and Wolf and the new series of it. Obviously, it's not like the next season; it's a completely new series.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised. So, it's hard to say because it's hard to describe because I haven't watched the original for over a decade. But what I found was it was beautifully animated. The music was great. The voice acting was great. Obviously, I was watching the sub, not the dub. I feel like the original went a little bit harder.
Interesting.
Which is so, like I said, it's difficult to say because it's been so long since I watched the original. So maybe it's just nostalgia playing it. It just felt like some of the scenes in the first episode of the original where Lawrence and Hollow first meet. It feels like those scenes felt more impactful in the original.
Right.
It's I'm trying to think of a comparison. So have you watched any of the Ancient Mage's Bride?
No, not really.
Okay. For anyone who has, it's like the Ancient Mage's Bride is very good at its scene building is really, really beautiful and impactful. Like everything kind of plays out. There's like, when you're like watching a drama or something or a movie and there is just a pause in speech at just the right time, and because there's that pause, it makes what's said next so much more impactful. I feel like maybe it's a pacing thing. It feels like the pacing of the first original episode was better, but like I said, that could just be nostalgia. Beautiful, like the new episode, beautifully animated. It's like kind of beautiful in the same way that like Free Ren is beautiful. In terms of like the world building, I think that they went into more about like some of the characters and some of the lore of the places they were. So I'm really looking forward to continue watching and seeing where they go with this, because I feel like they're going to go really hard in some areas that the other one didn't.
Okay.
So, but absolutely, if you're looking for something a little bit slower, just like very much, if you're looking for something to fill the gap after Free Ren has ended, like a journey, like then give them Spice and Wolf a look, because it is very, very good, very charming. I've got a big fondness for the story, so
that's cool. Am I right in thinking that it's sometimes the music can really add the element? Because I know you were saying earlier, like, it feels slightly offish compared to the first, and I guess that there's that natural comparison, isn't there? You instantly want to compare it to the first version you've seen before.
Yeah.
But I'm just wondering, maybe it could be like a music thing, because sometimes music amplifies like conversations and stuff. Do you know what I
It
mean?
could be. It could be. Maybe it'll be one of those things where, and that actually might be a fun thing for me to do if I can find it. Is I might go and seek out and rewatch the first episode of the original
Mm.
before I watch episode 2 of the new one, and maybe I'll do it like I'll do an episode by episode and like watch them both to see how they compare.
Yeah.
Assuming I can find the original somewhere. So
It's got to be out somewhere. It's got to be like,
yeah, you'd imagine so.
mm,
So
especially with this. Yeah.
but yeah, it's
Interesting.
good. It's good. Like it's really good. Definitely give it a go if you haven't
Mm.
already. If you're so inclined.
I haven't, sadly, but I don't know. I'm always on the fence about it because, of course, like as we were just saying, fighty, punchy stuff, and this is kind of like the other side of that coin, isn't it? This
Requires
is
a
more...
bit more attention.
yeah.
when something's a lot more like less fighty, you've got to pay a lot more attention, because if you miss something, it's much more difficult to kind of fill the gaps.
Yeah,
So.
absolutely. Talking of filling the gaps, I watched that time I got reincarnated as a slime, episode 1 of season 3.
And how was it, sir?
It's great opening sequence. It's here's the thing. This is definitely for the fans. Like it's very much, you've watched 2 seasons of this, possibly the movie. Here's all your characters back. Well, not all of them, but here's, the top 10 sort of thing.
Oh, I see what kind of episode this was.
So this is kind of like an episode just to catch up with the gang, and also kind of set up for the season. So it was all about what Diablos has been up to whilst Rimuru was setting up the Demon Lord's party. And just kind of like re-establishing the stakes. And for me coming back, because I haven't watched Slime or, re-engaged with the content since the movie. So, and even then there's like a space between the movie and season 2. So if a lot of it was kind of almost like an exhibition, not an exhibition. What's the word I'm thinking of? Like a info dump of
it's like this is the world. This is the state of the world. These are the key players in the world. These are the factions. These are like and stuff. Like this is what's been happening. It's like kind of like it should have it in bold. It's like this is a catch up episode. This is just this is trying to make it a little bit more palatable if you are starting from here rather than continuing from here.
Yeah, because it's kind of it does use clips from season 2, and it's like, hey, you remember when Rimuru took out like a whole army? Like, you remember when Rimuru did this? And now we're kind of seeing the consequences of what it has on that kingdom that was trying to attack the monster Tempest Kingdom, whatever it may be now. So yeah, it's kind of a weird starting off point. Plus they've invented matcha pudding with slime faces on, which is fun. So yeah, it has like half of the show is the characters, interacting with each other and goofing around, at the same time kind of like spoon feeding you the state of play with these other kingdoms.
Get that. I 100% get that. Sounds good though. Like it's one of those things. Like I think I started watching the first season through, but then I got distracted by reading. Again, I decided I'm just gonna. I can just read it and be much further ahead. Like,
yeah, it's been a long time since I've actually read the manga because I was so far ahead, and that's when I kind of stopped. And now it's ahead of me, so I'm kind of tempted to jump back in. But there's so much that has happened. It feels like there's been so much to kind of catch back up on. if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, get that.
Because I completely forget there's like a whole teacher arc where he's a teacher looking after those young kids.
Yeah, those other kids that have been like pulled in from the real, like from other worlds and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
they're gonna die because their like magicules are like out of balance or something like that.
Yeah, I completely forget about that
And you
arc
go, and
as
that's
well.
when he meets one of the other demon lords, isn't it? Because he meets the fairy who's like in charge of like the
Yes.
labyrinth and stuff.
Yeah. There's so much that's already happened somehow in these like first 3 seasons. But yeah, it's again, I'm just kind of like, it's good to kind of be back in that world, but I'm just kind of waiting for all the wheels to start spinning now. Like, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else have you been watching?
So I've been watching this like really like niche little anime. You might not have heard about it. It's called Solo Leveling. Um, and yeah, it recently finished its first season, so I've like kind of like sped through and watched like the whole season again. I like obviously I know there was a lot of discourse that one of the episodes was after a break was a catch up episode, only like 6 or 7 episodes in. Didn't go down well with a lot of people, but I think that overall they've done an absolutely cracking job in adapting it.
Yeah.
To the extent where I literally have over Wednesday and Thursday, I reread the entirety of the manhwa.
Wow.
Yeah, 200 chapters. Just powered through it. So, like, I think I've said this to you and I've said this to friends before. It's like, it's so great. Like, I think the stories like this even if they told really good in the first instance, they tell so much better when you can read it uninterrupted. Yeah, I'm just like same with like classics. Like if we're good jumping over to like manga wise and like animes, like if you could read Bleach or One Piece or Naruto week over week, or you could just read it from start to finish, one of those is gonna be better than the other because there's no time for you to forget. That's why I think that JJK is gonna be a better thing to read and watch when it's done. So, but yeah, Solo Leveling, incredible, like incredible. Ended exactly where I predicted it would end. If you want to go back to episode, and Zane's going to insert an episode number here. I'll say exactly where I think it's going to end. That's where it ended. So
yeah. I'll pop a link for our YouTube friends that pop
put a
up.
clip in there.
Yeah, episode 11 and 12 were fantastic. Like episode 11, animation wise, again, fight choreography between himself and the Crimson Knight.
Yeah,
I was just like, wow, like this is phenomenal. Like, wow. And with episode 12, again, a great episode. I guess you've probably seen the conversations online about the Arise. A lot of people felt the delivery for the Japanese dub wasn't as hard hitting as they were expecting.
Well, I did see that the VO for the dub is getting a lot of aggressive comments on social media at the moment. Like unduly so as well. Like these are comments that someone should not be receiving for doing their job. So yeah, but I mean, the thing is, and we've talked about this on the show before, is like I think that when you are fond of something, you allow yourself to build up high expectations of certain moments, and when they don't get delivered in the way that you think that they should be delivered, you get really upset about it. But the thing is that like as like with literature, with TV stuff like that, like that's your interpretation of it. You know, it's like
it's an art form.
Yeah, it's stuff like that.
all art.
It might not have
Yeah.
been like it might not have been what you were expecting, but it's like, would they have ever been able to do it good enough? Is there anything they
Yes.
could have done to have done it justice?
Yeah.
So
That's a very valid point. Yeah, it's all about setting expectations and stuff. Like, I instantly remember us talking about the Made in Heaven in Stone Ocean.
yeah,
Like, it didn't really meet my expectations of it. Not to say that it was terrible, but it was just kind of like I had this idea, and again, like you said, it just didn't meet
yeah,
my idea. But it doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad idea.
yeah. And
Because
leading up to that point, you had also seen like dozens of TikToks which were doing their interpretations of what it would end up being like. And
exactly.
obviously, some of them resonated with you more than what you actually got. So it's kind of like, but is
Mm,
that the fault of this studio? It's like kind of no. It's like the person watching it. I'm not blaming people for like
mm,
having expectations. Like that's fine. But it's like,
yeah.
if you allow your expectations to kind of run wild, like
Yeah.
then nothing's ever going to please you. Um, that's why video game sequels, especially ones
Mm,
that, or like why anime sequels after years and years often get a lot of hate, because people have had decades to think about what it should be or what they want it to
mhm.
be. So how could
Yeah.
anyone ever like match that expectation?
It's very true. Wise words of wisdom there. I really enjoyed episode 12 of Solo Leveling. I am looking forward to the dub version because I really like the voice actor.
Yeah,
Especially like he's the MC in Persona as well, Persona 3
yeah.
Reloaded.
And he's a
Super
very
talented guy.
charismatic guy as well, isn't he? He's like
Mm,
he just seems like he's a really cool guy, from what I've seen
yeah,
on his
yeah,
socials and stuff. So
yeah. Um, Fantastic. Yeah, perfect way to end the season. Also, all the stuff that's happening with the island, like again, kind of injecting that in there early on.
yeah,
I saw, I think someone did an interview for Korean TV, and they were saying that Solo Leveling could have like potentially 6 seasons. I don't know if it was like an April Fool's joke or not, but there's like this whole conversations that this could go for like 6 seasons apparently.
I mean, like we have friends, and he asked like how much of the manhwa does the anime cover, and I had to tell him
Hmm.
it literally covers like this many chapters, and based
Mm.
on how having just reread it, like and seeing the pacing that they've done so far, unless they change something drastically, it's gonna need a lot of seasons, because
Yeah.
there's a lot that goes on between now and the end. And that's not even counting if they decide that they're gonna like adapt some of the epilogue stuff as well.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Completely
So,
forgot about that.
but from what I can tell, based on the image, the teaser we got for season 2, I can
Hmm.
already tell more or less. In my head, I can kind of work out where it's going to start and where it's, well, I know where it's going to start, but I can already tell like it's going to cover one particular arc. It'll probably cover like 2 or 3 arcs during that time. But even
Wow.
then, that's there's so many arcs in Solo Leveling. So,
Mm.
but I don't think we're going to be seeing the island in earnest until like season end of season 3 or season 4,
Ooh.
unless they do things really tidily in season
Hmm.
2. I it maybe we'll get it in season 3,
Right.
like at the start of season 3. But I think that what's going to happen is that I'm at the end of season 3, at the end of season 2, we'll get another like ants update,
I see.
and
I'm with
then
you.
yeah, but we'll see. I'm really happy with what they've done, like,
Me
so
too. It's I was just gonna say A1 Pictures have really, you know, knocked it out of the park with this one. And not that I should be surprised because they've got like a great history of like adapting not solo leveling, but Sword Art Online and other things. But this is one of the best adaptations, I think. I don't know why, but in my head, I'm like, this is just phenomenal, like in every sense.
yeah,
They've been faithful to the art style. They've been faithful in characterizations and stuff. Like I just I think it's just been really, really good delivery.
Yeah, absolutely. Is I mean,
Mm.
so I think studios are getting much more faithful, much better at being faithful to original works. I think that, like we were talking about the height of the episode with at the top of the episode with Full Metal Alchemist. I think that there was a long time where studios were just like, we are going to get this and we're gonna get out as quick as possible because people want this. But it's like,
Yeah.
I would much rather get it week over week as the thing is ongoing, or week over week to
Hmm.
ensure that we get the whole thing, rather than them go, okay, we're going to go do 20 episodes. This is how we're going to adapt it to make it work for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. Excellent. I have one last one to mention that I watched this week. Let me share. Bum, bum,
put
bum,
it
bum,
up.
bum. I watched the first episode of Remonster.
Do tell.
Lee gasp. Uh, yeah, first episode. I'd say again, pretty solid first episode. It does the classic sort of isekai tropes, as you can imagine, understanding the sort of video game pop-up screens that happen, learning how to level up, and and everything else. I think what sets this apart and what's quite interesting is um, being a monster in this world and kind of using what's available and around you. So as a goblin in Remonster, he instant he figures out quite quickly like the goblins have no infrastructure. They just eat like slugs and worms and stuff. No one actually ventures out of the cave. So he ventures out. He starts using uh bones and stuff to as weapons, and it slowly builds up, if you know what I mean, to then hunting and then teaching all the other goblins how to hunt and such. So yeah, really, really interesting. I'm not too crazy on the art style, which, if I remember correctly, like the manga didn't exactly have like the wow factor in terms of art style.
Yeah, I did actually try to
Compared,
start reading it recently, but I just couldn't get into it.
yeah, yeah. But again, it's easygoing. It's again may not set your world on fire, but it's pretty cool. It's cool.
Fun.
Hmm. I can't even remember if it had an opening.
Oh, is it like one of those first episodes where it's like it doesn't
Yeah,
have an opening? It's just like straight into it. Maybe you'll
a
get the
little bit.
opening as the end sequence in the first episodes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I guess the only other thing to mention, which I didn't realize, is that in his original life, before he isekai'd, he had like special abilities and stuff as well, because he
Oh,
talks about abilities he had and such. So I don't know if it's like a double isekai or just kind of like video game world into the next one, if you know what I mean. But that I kind of was like, oh, that's kind of a nice subtle like thing going on there. But yeah, yeah, it's all
incredible.
right.
Sounds good.
Mm. What about you? Any others that you've watched this week?
Actually, no. I had family down over the previous weekend, and then I just had a busy week, so I've not really had much more chance to start anything new or continue anything. I'm really looking to get back on to my typical shonen stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like behind 3 seasons on My Hero Academia, and I quite like to get up to date on that because I was really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Got I was trying to keep up with Egghead Island for One
Ah,
Piece,
yeah.
and then they did that episode which was about lore. And I was like, "Oh my god, this is going to be a bloody filler episode, isn't it? We're only a couple of episodes in, and they're giving us a filler episode." And I kind of fell off after that. Um, and now I'm like, "Oh my god, how much time is? I can't even remember how much time has passed since I last watched an episode
Oh my
of One
gosh.
Piece." I'm like, "Oh no, oh no, now I'm behind again. It's happening again."
Oh mate. Oh dear.
Yeah.
The good news is that for My Hero, there here in the UK, there's been like a anime dump on Netflix. So you've got series 1 to 5, um, which is kind of great because you can catch up that way. But season 6, I think, is still on Crunchyroll as well.
Mm-hmm.
So because season 7's about to start this next couple of week or two.
Yeah.
But what was I going to say? I've used this time to try and catch up on Black Clover because the first 51 episodes came to Netflix.
Oh, nice.
So I was just like, I'm just going to knuckle down and
Yeah, absolutely.
power through all that screaming.
Yeah, you know, it's like Asta's voice can be a little bit grating, but if you can get through the first 20 episodes,
Mm.
you kind of become numb to it. It's like original Naruto.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
stuff.
I get
Like
that.
once you get over that hurdle, much more enjoyable. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said the Naruto and Asta aren't like so annoying.
Mm. Yeah, but that's the whole like
That's their
fun of
charm,
it,
isn't it?
it?
As well.
Yeah.
They're meant to
Yeah.
be annoying characters.
Cool. Right. I thought it'd be cool just to kind of give people a heads up of what I'm going to watch over the next week or two until the next episode. So if you're following along, maybe you'll check these out and let us know your thoughts in the comments and stuff. So, I'm just trying to find one of them. We'll go with these. So I'm going to check out The Bartender, Glass of God.
Okay.
I'm going to check it out because the trailers and stuff, the animation just looks incredible. And I imagine it's going to be like those food animes, you know, where the food just looks succulent and everything. So I'm interested to check this out and see what it's all about.
So are we going to see you at the top of the next episode with a daytime martini? Like you're like going to find out you actually these animes turned you into like a drinker of fine spirits and cocktails. All of your like merch in the background is going to be like bottles.
Bottles, yeah, vintage, like is a 12-year whiskey and everything. Maybe I'll kick off the episode with a Kir Royale.
Give me a Kir Royale.
I think this will start it as well. So I'm going to also check out this series, Mission Yoskura Family.
Okay.
I think there's a bit of a buzz around it at the moment. So
the daughter of the ultimate spy family.
So yeah, I think it might be worth a watch and checking out.
That's interesting. That's interesting because it is like it's listed here in the description, a spy family comedy. So I'm like, whoa.
You don't say.
Are they trying to step in? Like
So yeah, those are definitely two I'm going to check out as well as anything else. So yeah, make sure to subscribe and everything else, and we'll talk about those next episode. Just before we wrap up, let's do question time because that's something I said we would do.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it's been, you know, we've been waiting. We love answering questions.
So we've got at FWNMKZ. Who is the realest MF in Dragon Ball?
Piccolo.
I was going to say Piccolo.
Piccolo. He started off as a villain. He, as a character, like obviously, there's a lot of like Dragon Ball Z is about character growth in a lot of ways. I think while Vegeta shows a lot of character growth, in terms of like he remains kind of true to who he is, but he starts to realize that there's another way to live. I think Piccolo was specifically created to be a troublemaker all through from the beginning. And even after he stopped being like a villain. He was still kind of an antagonist to some degree, and then he ended up having to be a stepdad or an adopted father to the son of the guy that he he really didn't like.
Yeah. At one stage, they were like
And he's just
multiple
kind of like,
enemies, right?
yeah, and then Piccolo's just gone on this like crazy journey where it's like you get to like the most recent stuff in Super, and it's like he's literally like babysitting and picking up like Gohan's like daughter from
Pan.
school.
Yeah.
It's like wild.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, because in my mind, I kind of thought of Bardock, and I thought of future Trunks and future Gohan, but there's something about Piccolo. Like, I love Special Beam Cannon as well. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's such a cool move.
Yeah.
I think that's my answer as well.
Yeah,
I
Piccolo
also
has got to be. Yeah, he's real. He's just so real.
also, like, I think I may have mentioned this before on the pod, but one of my favorite filler arcs is that like Garlic Junior arc where Goku was still off world and it was down to like Kid Gohan and Piccolo, and they fight like all the different spices and stuff. I love that. I thought it was so cool.
Such a good arc to be watching week on week on Toonami.
Exactly. Bum. So we've got at KA Wacky XTX. What is the definition of cooking? Who cooked?
Sanji. Who was really cooking? I guess overall.
I've got a good one, I think.
Oh, go for it. Absolutely, go for it.
I think Shikamaru, when he fought that, is it Hedon in the Akatsuki?
Yes.
I was like, man, what a revenge to kind of, and it's that kind of let him cook, because he had to build that over time, right? Because he had to like set up the plan, the strategy, draw him in, and then like bury him in his like family forest.
I got someone in mind. I just gotta remember the pronunciation of their name. Where is he?
Also, Shikamaru's got that like tune, hasn't he? With the flute, so it's like do 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 do. Do you remember like during the tuning exams?
Yeah. Oh my god! There we go. So this is like coming out of like nowhere. I'm going for Bleach. I'm going for Yumichika, who is part of Kenpachi's squad. He's the guy with the eyebrows. No, not the eyebrows. The feathery eyelashes.
Yes. Yeah.
I go with him because the moment that he releases his sword for the first time against that Arrancar, but only because the Arrancar's ability hid him from view, because he would rather die than let anyone in his squad see what his actual sword's true form is.
It's like Shikai. Yeah.
To like that goes so fucking hard. The fact that he's like he would rather die. He would have literally let himself die in that fight rather than let anyone see that. And the fact that like he purposely stays he wants to stay in a lower seat because he wants to be the most beautiful number and stuff like that. But honestly, like I think that the reveal that he's actually got a really powerful like ability, he just doesn't want to use it because he's ashamed of it because of his squats.
Yeah, that's a really good take. Especially like he was always like Bezzy mates with, is it Ikaku?
Yeah,
The
Kaku.
bald guy. Yeah.
So
They were a cool dynamic. I like them.
yeah.
There's also that one guy in Bleach. I can never remember his name. He has like the tattoo of a number under his eye.
Yeah,
and
I know who you're talking about. I can't remember his name though.
and he's like kind of popular with the lieutenants and stuff. But I'm pretty sure I can't remember if it's his Bankai or is it Shikai, and he hates the look of it because it's like two Reapers, like two scythes, is his like release.
Yeah.
And again, I love that as well because it's like he hates the way his swords look, and it's supposed to be a representation of his soul and everything else, isn't it? Because
I like characters who have self-imposed limits on. Like, I think that's always great. It's like, again, another one, a character who could, Rock Lee.
Yeah.
Is that when you find out there's characters who are like, they're literally using like a fraction of their ability, but it's not because of anything other than a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, always wild.
No, some good questions. I like that. How are we doing for time? I tell you what, should we wrap up for now? And anyone else who's got some questions, feel free to drop us an email or at us on X. Drop DMs in Instagram. All the relevant links will be in the description down below. But yeah, we love your questions, and feel free to drop them in. Whew, what an episode! Right, I know you got a dash, so thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you are listening to this on your favorite podcast platform, do us a solid and hit that star rating.
Lost you at the end there. Just lost you at the very end of that.
Don't worry. I'm still coming through. Don't worry. But yeah, hit us with a star rating. Leave a comment. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, please make sure to hit the subscribe button as well as the like, and drop an emoji in the comment. Hit that fire one. Just anything for engagement. It will help us in a big bad way. Super. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we shall see you in a fortnight.
Yeah,
Peace.
Absolutely. Tell us what you're watching.